This is Asa Swift, and you're watching Asa Swift's Haunted Places. Today, I decided to take a little outing with my wife, who is disabled and can't walk, and get her out of the house. And so I used this little trip as an excuse to do that. Today's trip was to the Bills Cemetery. I have no idea why it got that name, or if there's anybody with the last name of Bills, but there you have it. And it's a pioneer cemetery on the northeast quadrant of the county of Marion County in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's out by Geist Reservoir in a wealthy area. Of course, at the time, obviously, it would have been farmland and forest and things like that back in those days. The earliest date I could find on any of the tombstones was somebody dying in, I believe it was either 1819 or 1814. It's hard to tell some of these tombstones. Excuse me. Even the ones marked, or on the ones marked that are marble, have worn away a lot of the words and things. There was some that were I guess you limestones that they just don't last, and the marble doesn't fare a whole lot better. That's why they use granite now. But there's probably, I don't know, there may have been 25, 30 graves back there. It's hard to tell because some of them are missing stones. Some of them are just little pieces of stones, and there's nothing on them, or at least there isn't anything on them now. And even a lot of the bigger stones are just completely washed away throughout the decades or centuries. Like I said, the earliest that I could find of somebody's death on the tombstone was about 1814. So they've been there a long time. Today's outing was filmed on with a Queso action camera and a new Hohem gimbal, and it's the first time that I used them. And today, unfortunately, I had the camera on set for external mic, and then failed to hook up the external mic, thinking that, well, regardless, it would use the internal mic to record, and it did not. So I'm doing the voiceover here, so you know at least a little bit what's going on. But I'm satisfied with the camera, the Queso action camera. It's 4K, and I think the video's very nice, especially for the price of the thing. I mean, you can buy a GoPro and cross your fingers and hope that it doesn't crap out on you or overheat, and spend much more money, 3 or 4 times as much as what was spent on this. And so I'm completely satisfied with it. And the same with the Hohem gimbal. I think I got it on sale for $80, and so it's and this is the first time that I've used them both, so I'm still getting used to them. The Osmo Plus, it's an older technology, but it works very well, and I've got more experience with it, and so does one of my cameramen. Now today there was no cameraman. I could not get any of my cameramen to help me today to save my life. One had a trip to go on, and another one had to work, so it was just me. And so just the wife and I decided we'd take this little trip way out northeast to the Geist Reservoir area, and visit this little old pioneer cemetery. And while I was back there, I looked at one of the houses there, and I could imagine, what must that be like to have an ancient cemetery in your backyard. Although this cemetery is a responsibility. I don't know that it's their backyard. It's the responsibility of the township trustees. All the pioneer cemeteries, at least in Marion County, are required by law to be kept up and maintained by the various township trustees that are responsible for them. Some do a good job at that, and some don't. This one looks pretty good. I'd like to see them do a little bit more with the tombstones if they could, and maybe replace some of the markers if they know where the graves are at. Good luck with that, huh? The records aren't going to be too great with that many years gone by. I mean, we're talking before the Civil War. But they do know who's buried in there, though. I have seen the list of the people that are buried in there. Some of the names I recall are Mock, M-O-C-K, Beaver, B-E-A-V-E-R, and I believe there was a couple names I saw, Williams, and I think there's might be some others. So this might be, 2 or 3 families worth of cemetery here. So there's one that says Beaver right now, and that the families die out, and then they've either, the survivors move on, or there is no one left, and so these plots just end up here. That someday turns out to be somebody's backyard, front yard, side yard, or whatever. Then they would have been part of somebody's farm in a corner of their property or whatever. And now you can find these pioneer cemeteries right next to a house, inside a housing addition. In fact, that's where this is. This is in a wealthy housing addition. And so it's you just don't know. These were all farmlands at one time, and this is where their family was buried when they passed on. There's one's 1875. You can read some dates on it. Some things are legible, and like this one here, I couldn't decipher anything. If there was anything on there, maybe that said Elizabeth. I don't know. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm sorry that the microphone thing didn't turn out. Again, it's a brand new camera, brand new gimbal, just learning how to use it, and I didn't want to throw this away. I mean, it's still fascinating to see these pioneer cemeteries just in the middle of a neighborhood. Now, it seems incongruent to say the least. For the future of Ace of Swift's Haunted Places, what we have planned is another day trip to Indiana Sanatorium, or the Indiana Tuberculosis Sanatorium, as it once was called, in Rockville, Indiana. We're going to plan on doing that this May. We hope to have Sky Bowerman of Sky's Catacomb on Facebook and YouTube with us. If you would, check out her page, her Facebook page, and her YouTube channel. That's SKYE Catacomb, Sky's Catacomb. And I'd appreciate it if you would give her a shout and let her know that Ace of Swift sent you there. Also, too, she is associated with the Shadow Seekers Paranormal, They're an investigation group here in Indiana. They have members in various towns in central Indiana area. They invited me to Monroe House, and that's how I got to meet them. So if you check them out too, they're also on Facebook. And that's Shadow Seekers Paranormal, not to be confused with Shadow Seekers Investigations. That's a different organization. So Shadow Seekers Paranormal, and if you check them out, tell them Asa Swift sent you, and give them a look-see. Also, too, sometimes you can find them and possibly me in the future on a podcast or two here or there on the Things Network. It's THINGS, Things Network, and you can find that their podcasts on LinkedIn. If you're have joined that LinkedIn, it's a business social media platform, and but people use it for all kinds of things, and I joined it to help promote my horror stories. As you know, I'm a horror writer, and my website as well. So anyway, I'll sign off here. Those are the things that we have planned for this summer, some trips, and there may be some other things coming up too, some surprises. We'll just have to wait and see. Sometimes we're invited to an investigation or to an area that we haven't planned on, and so if that happens, why, I'll be sure and let you know. We're also planning another trip back to Monroe House in Hartford City, Indiana, and that's going to be for an all-nighter, not just for a few hours like the last time, if you've seen the video. And we also have a plan to go to the Randolph County Infirmary, which is that county's old poor farm, or county home. All 92 counties in Indiana at one time were required by law to have a county poor farm or county home, or whatever they wanted to call it. In this case, Randolph County called it the Randolph County Infirmary. And but it was all essentially the same thing. These people were poor and had nowhere, nothing else to go. There was no welfare or anything else, and some were widowers and widows, and they had nothing left. And they were sent to these places, basically. They even called them inmates. So the life in these places was no cakewalk, and that's why some of these places are haunted. Some of them were quite brutal, as a matter of fact. And the Randolph County Infirmary is in good shape. The building is still in good shape. They've restored it. They've made sure that the roof is in good shape to protect the inside of the building, and it's a very nice looking place now, and it's a popular place among paranormal investigators to go to and conduct their investigations. So we're going to be going there too as well, and the prices are very reasonable, and if you take several people with you and split the cost, it's really not much at all. So I'm going to leave you with the rest of this. This is just about over here, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And again, it was just a little outing, an excuse to get out of the house on a nice Saturday sunny day. So remember, for Asa Swift's Haunted Places, remember, haunted places can sometimes reveal haunted faces. So sleep well.